You know, what I feel I like in the rhetoric in LuftTube or Breadtube or whatever you want to call it, you know, I guess it has a million names at this point, is that I feel that a lot of people on the online left seem to adhere to some kind of personal value, which I can respect. I mean, they don't have to be right, they don't have to be wrong either. What I'm saying is, even if someone is a tanky or anything adjacent to that, meaning something that I suppose people would find disagreeable, I feel like that there's at least something to admire in their motivations being guided by their principles. But sometimes this just isn't the case. People can form their opinions based on interpersonal reasons, right? It's like, oh, my friend thinks this, so I'm going to think this way as well. And in the long run, I think this kind of behavior is unfortunate, since this seems to be one of the major reasons for the factionalism on Breadtube. And I guess if you're new to quote-unquote Breadtube, you'll know that conspicuously there seems to be two sides to this, right? There are the debate bros and the video essayists. And if you don't know who these two groups are, generally speaking, they can oftentimes be defined by the type of content they make. Debate bros can oftentimes be characterized as mainly making content that revolve around the streams or somewhere you can have a live debate on. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. Some good examples may be Vosh or Xander Hall from what I've seen so far, right? But on the other hand, we have the video essayists who tend to make scripted videos. Some good examples may be people like ContraPoints or FD Signifier. And just to preface, I respect and I actually really like watching the videos of basically all of these people. And this video really isn't to see the validity of the arguments of both sides. I would say ideologically they may be similar, but the main point of contention is that these two factions don't like how the other faction presents their content or anything else in relation to that. And I guess I've seen the arguments of both sides, and they're still through the lens of ideology. Again, from my understanding, the debate bro perspective on their need to exist on the online left is that they're the wall between everyone else, or a bridge between everyone else and Breadtube, right? And given that, rhetoric can be important in that situation. Because when you're dealing with people who may often come in bad faith, I'm guessing having good ideas in itself isn't really going to be helpful. Again, Vosh being the most vocal proponent of this demonstrates this in this clip.
Okay, now here's a question. Do you think that if I were to just delete my channel, and let's say Xander Hall and, as well, the wall, right? If we were all to delete our channels, do you think then the right would simply give up on reacting to left-leaning content online? You'd think they'd be like, oh, well, now that they're not anymore, I guess we're done with that particular incredibly lucrative, extremely attractive form of content that has historically driven tens of millions of views to channels like Ben Shapiro. They're gonna go after everyone else.
And many video essayists seem to think that the main issue with debate bro or the debatosphere in the online left is that they seem to value rhetoric over knowledge, if that makes sense. And again, FD Signifier, a prominent member of Breadtube that do this kind of content, I think explains this in this clip.
Viewers tune in not to really learn anything, but for blood sport. Their fandom hinges greatly on parasociality. These guys don't have a lot of original ideas or assessments. They have a baseline knowledge of leftist theory, which, that's all I really have myself. And of course, they stay abreast of current topics because that's their job, but they severely lack an effective praxis into the content that they are often responding to.
So from what I know here, the main issue that some video essayists have with debate bros is the fact that a lot of their content usually is just a form of entertainment, right? There's no praxis to it. It's just a commodified form of media like anything else, especially when no new ideas are brought to the table. I'll put the links for these two videos in the description, and this is obviously for the most vocal of these two groups, that makes sense. But unfortunately, even this ideological intention seem to have evolved into some kind of an in-group, out-group situation, which I personally feel is an unfortunate consequence of this factionalism. But to make my point, I guess I'll use the Vosh drama with J.K. Rowling as a really good example of this. I know that Vosh always seems to have this nebula of drama orbiting him at all times, but I guess this particular instant illustrates my point very well. And I think this conflict between Vosh and Cat Black, this initial conflict, highlights this unfortunate factionalism through how they behaved and how other people around them behaved in this situation, especially from what I see as a viewer, if that makes sense. Like, again, it seems that in Vosh's video on the ContraPoint situation. ContraPoint, who was usually averse to drama, joined in on Cat Black's side, and unconditionally, which I suppose is a little uncharacteristic. And I would attribute this to social divides rather than actual ideological divides.
Now, it turns out, and I only learned this afterwards, the reason Contra's doing all of this is because she's friends with Kat. I'm pretty confident Kat must have DM'd her privately and egged her into joining the conversation. As tempting as it is to blame Kat for that, I'm very disappointed that Natalie would compromise on her positions like this because a friend encouraged her to. That is not good. That is not good behavior.
And the same allegiance-based behavior, from what I see, right, seems to have had similar results on the debatosphere, right, in the case of Xander Hull.
I know that I'm like out here white knighting for a friend of mine and fellow content creator, and I really don't care about any like accusations of white knighting, because what I'm saying right now is completely true, and I'll defend it. The left loves gatekeeping people from being part of a marginalized community whenever it's convenient, okay? Literally, Cat Black, the original drama she got into back in the day was for calling another black creator who disagreed with her on race politics an Uncle Tom.
I don't know, I hope you get the point here. It seems that this whole conflict seemed to be this interpersonal conflict, whether it was this way the entire time or it became this way. And I think this makes it harder to engage in any form of praxis, right? If these personal conflicts are at the top of your list of priorities, it makes it hard to do anything that isn't just circle jerking with drama just for the sake of views and money or whatever it may be, right? I guess I would be a little more okay with conflict if it was based on personal opinions or some kind of conviction, since there's some kind of actual objective policy-wise, right? It kind of sucks if it just boils down to interpersonal factors. Since I think Breadtube is one of those few places where it's not just, okay, this individual has a personal vendetta against someone else, therefore we should all join in, right? I think that's just something that would turn Breadtube into some kind of drama industrial complex, right? And from where I'm coming from, I feel like there are too many places that have turned into drama industrial complexes. And I really wouldn't want Breadtube to just become another over-commodified shithole. But yeah, anyway, sorry for not posting in, over a month at this point, since, I had exams recently, but now hopefully I should be able to upload more often. Anyways, thanks for watching the video.